So, how did First Followers start? Well, back in 2011, I was going through some professional development with my then employer, and some of the things that we were learning in this 3-week program was about project management and leadership. So I took this skill set back into the work environment, and I was able to lead very large-scale projects, very successful. Very enthusiastic about my newly found skill set and the confidence that I was gaining and building with this skill set. I was wondering, contemplating what could I do or how could I make a bigger difference for the community. So I started thinking about some of the things that were happening at the time, which was one of these things in the county about the county jail and building an entirely new county jail, which was going to cost the excess of $20+ million to build. So I'm a firm believer about building people rather than buildings. And I thought about, I thought about some of the social injustices that were going on and all the money that was funneling into projects such as building new county jails. And I wanted to make sure that I wanted to be involved in more of a holistic effort as far as reaching the community, doing things or having things that was going to make a difference in people's lives rather than just warehousing individuals, which seemed to be, for the past 30 years, a model of this country. So First Followers, we had our launch 2015, February of 2015. And what we did was we got a team of 6 people. James Kilgore, who is also a co-director, and myself put together a team of 4 other individuals that have been directly affected by incarceration, whether it's family members or themselves personally. And they thought that the effort was more than overdue, or the project was more than overdue, and so they wholeheartedly bought into what we were talking about and some of the issues that we were addressing. So the next 6 months, we opened the doors in March. The grand opening was in February, but we opened our doors for services in March. And some of the things that we have seen and some of the success stories that we have seen is that individuals, the very basic needs coming in the doors, such as state ID. Not many of our participants come in the door without a state ID, so they can't get employment. They can't do just the basic things to get off on the right foot as far as building themselves up and going in the right direction. So we were able to give 6 to 7 people or participants, as we like to call them, state IDs. Another piece to that was we sit down with them on a one-on-one basis with job employment applications. We go online because many of them are not computer literate because they've been away or they've never been exposed to the technology of everything being online nowadays. So we sit down with them one-on-one to help them fill out applications and also to help them set up email addresses, which is very important in this employment search. Another thing that we have done is not only have we filled out applications, but we've been reaching out to corporate America to find those companies that are willing to take a chance on those individuals that may have a felony conviction. So we're building a network, we're establishing relationships, and we're moving in the right direction with that because we've gotten a lot of feedback because as you know, mass incarceration has affected this country in a negative way. So employers are starting to shift that paradigm or that mindset of not wanting to hire those individuals with felony convictions. So we are building that network. We have a database set up, and we're continuously reaching out to employers that are willing to be receptive to our idea. So one of the things that we do believe in at First Follower is helping those individuals empower themselves, building that confidence and showing them that there is a different way than the way that they're used to, and that there are people that have come out of the Illinois Department of Correction or any kind of correctional institution and that have gone through those similar trials and tribulations, but have also been able to fight their way through that and be successful. And what I mean by successful, one piece of that is getting back into the community, giving back to the community, in a positive way, being an advocate for the community, being an advocate for those individuals that are seeking to have those some opportunities, whether it's employment, whether it's reestablishing those relationships with family, friends, and different things like that. So what we try to do is just kind of help guide that process to a point where they feel empowered enough where they can go out and make a difference in their community.
All right, we're rolling whenever you guys are ready to start.
Okay, so maybe you can just start off by telling us your name.
My name is Tamika Davis. I am 38 years old.
Okay, Tamika, do you want to tell us a little bit about how you came to be involved in First Followers?
I was at Mount Olive Missionary Baptist Church doing a prison ministry, and Marlon Mitchell had other great ideas about helping our community. And he kept on telling me, Tamika, I'm trying to put a piece together. And I said, okay. And he said, well, would you be willing to be involved in it? I told him yes. And then he presented this to me in the First Followers program, and I was like, wow, that is awesome. I was just like, you know, too outdone because it's finally something that can help our community.
So what do you hope to accomplish by working with First Followers, and what do you think First Followers can do to contribute to the community?
I believe First Followers is a good program to have, seeing that Champaign County does not have programs to help felons once they are released from prison. This program, I would like to see just the doors just busting open, us having our own building. We appreciate the space that we are allowed right now. However, I just really want to reach out to my community and tell a felon that just because you are a felon, that does not mean that you can't have a decent job and make decent wages instead of minimum wage. And it gives them hope at the end of the day.
So what are some of the concrete things that you would do, volunteering with First Followers to deal with people who are trying to come home from prison? What are some of the things that you would tell them about, or some of the ways in which you would go about giving them support?
First Followers, to me, it's not just a program that help people that's coming home from prison, our felons. And sometimes I just feel like we're almost like a little close-knit family that's willing to get out to help the community, to pull them in. People that's coming home from prison, especially if you did a lot of time, like me, myself, I did 8.5 years. So coming home, I didn't have this program. However, people that's coming home from prison are kind of lost, especially the ones that did like 5 years or 10 years. So they're out of knit with the community. So we are a program to bring them back into the community to show them the way, so far as filling out applications. And not only that, helping them get IDs, because a lot of times people don't have an ID or they don't have a birth certificate, and we make sure that we volunteer our time to go and help them get their IDs, their birth certificates, everything that they need for a job interview. And also just really just like talking to them because they have probation officers or parole officers that they have to deal with, and sometimes it can be friction in between the two. And so sometimes you can give them good advice coming home from prison about how to handle their parole officer or their probation officer to do the right thing. I was never violated, and I had 5 years to do on paper. So, it was not easy. However, I just took it day to day, and I took it as to say that I know that I don't want to go back. So any advice that I can give a person to stay home on the streets is the best advice. And I've learned a lot just being around First Followers.
So do you wanna tell us a little bit about about your own process of change, how you changed from the way you were doing things before you went to prison, and how you changed through that period to up to today?
Before I went to prison, I had to really, while in prison, I did a evaluation over myself. Before I went to prison, I was kind of lost out here. I can truly say that I did not love myself. And I come to the conclusion when I was sitting on the bench in prison, I was 26 years old, when I said something has to change. Something about me has to change. Texas has the most beautiful skies that you could ever see, and it was at sunset when I was sitting there thinking about my life. And I left 4 children on the streets. I left 3 boys and 1 young lady on the streets. And I said that I know that I don't want my children to be anything like I was. I always wanted my children to be better than me, to try to accomplish more than what I've accomplished in life, and especially not going to prison. So through that process, I had to do enter me thinking. I had to do a lot of soul searching. I had to pull everything out. And once I got to that conclusion, everything about me changed, even on the inside. And when I came home, I was just determined to do better than what I've ever done before. I never really held a job, and I held a job for actually 6.5 years before I went to the University of Illinois, working there now. Then First Followers is the program as well that I came in contact with that strengthens me along my walk, because it's not, every day is a struggle at times. And I just feel like on Tuesdays and Fridays, I'm happy and overjoyed to see them, because maybe it's a situation that has come up that I may not know how to handle, or I deal with like a lot of the community people, and sometimes I get frustrated, and First Followers is those people that kind of keep me on a mellow road and pathway.
Okay, and so if you were to sort of dream a little bit about First Followers and think what would you like to see it look like in 5 years? What would your vision of that be?
People say I have a big imagination. In 5 years, I would love to see First Followers with our own building, with our own vehicles, with people just busting down the doors, wanting the help, just saying, hey, how can I get a job? Or I'm just coming home from prison, and what am I to do? Because you are lost and people do need help. I would like to see more of us counseling, more of the people from the streets as well, especially people with felons, especially the young males that's out here in the community. I would like to see us doing a whole lot of having our own programs and a lot of other things, a host of other things.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell the world?
Yes, I would like to say that if I know that it's a struggle just coming home from prison. I know it's a struggle trying to get the family back together. I know it's a struggle doing just basically just pretty much just getting back into the swing of things, getting back into the jobs, getting back into dealing with people that maybe we've never had a chance to deal with. Like now I deal with all types of people in different sorts of walking in this world. And I just feel like today I'm a new person. Due to First Followers, we are here, and we would like for everyone to come. We accept all. We accept all. So we really want to see this community come together where everybody can have a job, where everybody feels equal.